Okay, so we're starting 5.6 here. And this is our factoring trinomials. I was part of the drill and skill, so the skilled and drill. So this is kind of hard for me to explain to some people because it was just drilled into my head. But whenever we have x squared plus 9x plus 18 here. I want y'all to know whenever there's a plus sign at the end of a trinomial, both of our binomials will have this plus sign. So when I factor x, it's x times x is x squared, so I have x and x. They're both going to have that plus sign because there's a plus sign at the end. If it was subtract, they'd both have subtract because negative times negative gives us the positive. Then I'm looking for factors of 18 that add to get 9. So my factors of 18, I have 9 and 2, 6 and 3, 18 and 1, but 6 plus 3 equals 9, so it'd be 6 and 3. And that would be x squared plus 9x plus 18 factored. So we'd have y squared equals, for y squared, subtract 18y plus 77. There's plus sign at the end. That means both will have subtract. When I factor out my y squared, it will be y times y. And then factors of 77 that add to get 18. I know they're both subtract here, so put them in there. So your multiplication tables are going to be huge in this, y'all. So 7 times 11 is 77, and 7 plus 11 is 18. So we'd have 7 and 11. And it doesn't matter which way you put these in, since these both have the same sign. And then when we go to check these, which you can do, x times x is x squared, x times 3 is 3x, 6 times x, 6x, 6 times 3 is 18. And then 3 plus 6 would give us our 9. Here, y times y times negative 11, negative 7 times y, negative 7 times negative 11. Combine them. So I'm going to go ahead and write that on here. So our answer would have been y subtract 7 times y subtract 11. Here we have x squared plus 2x subtract 8. So I have a subtract at the end now. So this was plus plus, so we have plus signs here. Subtract plus, so they were both subtract. Because if there's a plus sign at the end of it, they both share that first sign. This one has a subtract at the end of it. They're going to have different signs. So I'll have x and x. And I know I'm going to have different signs now. I know that they're both x because it's x squared. Okay. Before we added the factors to get this, now we have to subtract. So factors of 8 that subtract to get 2. And that would be 4 and 2. And I can't just write them in. No. Okay. So 4 and 2. And the 4 goes with the positive because this is positive. So the inside, since it was plus 2, we put the bigger one with the plus sign. If I would have put this with the subtract, it would have been subtract 2 on the inside, not plus 2. And that's why I have problems explaining it, because it was just drilled into me and I can just regurgitate this. So x squared, if I was checking this, I'd have x squared subtract 2x plus 4x, subtract 8. And when I combine my like terms, negative 2 plus 4, I get my positive 2x. So that's why that's this one. All right, now I have a subtract, subtract. So I know that I have x at the beginning. I know they have different signs because there's a subtract at the end. The reason that I know if there's a subtract at the end, they have different signs is because a negative times a negative is positive. Positive times positive is positive. So for it to be that negative at the end, it can't be two of the same signs. It has to be the difference. So factors of 30 that subtract to get 7. 6 and 5 would be 1. 15 and 2 would be 13. I'll write them up here. So I know that 6 times 5 equals 30, but 6 subtract 5 equals 1. 15 times 2 equals 30, but 15 subtract 2 is 13. 3 and 10. 10 times 3 equals 30, but 10 subtract 3 equals 7. So that's what it's going to be because I have to have this 7. Now since it's subtract here, I know the bigger number, the 10 has to go here. And then I can check that. So x times x is x squared plus 3x, subtract 10x, negative times positive, subtract 30. And when I combine these, 3 subtract 10 would be that negative 7 there. So, answer. Whenever you have one that has that leading number, try and get rid of it. Try and get rid of it right then. So does 6 go into all of them? Yes. So we're going to take it out. And so 6 divided by 6, negative 36 divided by 6, 48 divided by 6. Now then, I can factor that like normal. There's plus sign at the end, so I know that I'll have 2 negatives. So we have 6, and now I have y subtract, y subtract. Now factors of 8 that add to get 6 would be 4 and 2. And then if I multiplied all this out, I could check it. This will multiply to get this, and then multiply by 6 will give us this. So that would be our answer. Oh, there's a leading coefficient. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to factor it out. So we have z's in all of them and 3, so let's factor out 3z. So 3x squared z divided by 3z would leave us with x squared plus 12 divided by 3 is 4. The z's gone, so x plus 9z divided by 3z would be 3. And then we'll factor that. So I have 3z times x. There's plus sign at the end, so they both have the same sign. And 3 times 1 and 3 plus 1. So answer. 2x squared subtract 28x subtract 46. Factor that 2 out. So x squared subtract 14x subtract 13. That's not 13. 46 divided by 2 would be 23. Factors of 23 that subtract to get 14. There's none. There's not one. 23 and 1. 7 doesn't go into 23. It's prime, blah, blah, blah. This would be the answer. Because I can't think of a number that goes into 23 besides 1. 2 can't. 3 goes into 21 and 24. 4 goes into 24 and 20. 5 goes into 20 and 25. 6 goes into 18 and 24, 7 goes into 21, 8 goes into 24, 9 goes into 27. There's not, 23 is prime. So by factoring out this 2, we factored it. Factor the following trinomial, 3b squared plus 7b plus 2. I can't factor 3 out of 2, but does this factor? So my factors of 3 are 3 and 1. So I'd have a 3b here and a b here. Now then I have to think of my 2. So I want to add to get 7. And the only factors of 2 are 2 and 1. So if I did 3 times 1 is 3 and 2, 3 plus 2 is 5, that wouldn't work. But if I did 3 times 2 is 6, 1 times 1 is 1, 6 plus 1 is 7. So we're going to stick with that. So I need to multiply my 3 by my 2 and put a 1 here. They're both positive, so, and that would be my answer. 4x squared subtract 13x plus 9. This is a special one, but we're not going to learn about them until we get to the next lesson. So, factors of 4, we have 4 and 1, and 2 and 2. Factors of 9, we have 9 and 1, and 3 and 3. This actually isn't the special one. So, let's see, if we did 4 times 1, we'd have 4, and if we did 9 times 1, we'd have 9. 9 plus 4 is 13. Since this is a plus sign, that's what we're going to do. And so let's see, we have to have our 4 first, and then normal. There's plus at the end, so they both share this sign, so subtract, subtract. Now then, I have my 9 times the 1, so we're going to put 9 here and 1 there. Then we can check that by multiplying, so 4x squared subtract 4x, subtract 9x plus 9. Negative 4 subtract 9 would be negative 13x. Okay, so answer. Factor the following trinomial. So we have 15 and 2, and we want to add to get 7. So factors of 15, 15 and 1, 5 and 3, 2 and 1. Okay. And I want to add to get 7. So 15 plus anything is going to be a bust. So let's say we did 5 times 1 is 5, 3 times 2 is 6. That would be 11. 5 times 2 is 10, and that's already over it. This one's prime. Yeah. It's prime because you can't factor that. And 9. Is 42 go 9 going to 42? No. But 3 does. Let's factor out a 3. So I'd have 3x squared, subtract 3 goes into 4 once, 3 goes into 14. 3 goes into 49. Oh, does it? Does not. So no. Factors of 9. We have 9 and 1. Then we have 3 and 3. Factors of 49. 49 and 1. 7 and 7. Plus, so we want to add to get 42. Adding to get 42. 3 times 7 is 21. 3 times 7 is 21. This is a special product. So we'd have 3x, that first sign is subtract, and they are the same. So you can either write this one like this, or you can write, I don't know if it's going to be picky on you or not, but they're both the same, so I can just put that square there and call it good. All right, 18, 18, and 8. 2 goes into all of them. Let's factor 2 out. So we have 9x squared subtract 9x subtract 4. Oh. 9, 9 and 1, 3 and 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 2. We want to subtract to get 9. 4 times 3 is 12, and 3 times 1 is 3. 12 subtract 3 is 9. So we have our 2, and then we have 3x, and these are going to have different signs because there's a subtract at the end. Ugh. Now then, I want the bigger one to be negative, so 4 with the negative and 1 with the positive. Check it. 3x, so 9x squared. 3x times 1 plus 3x subtract 4 times 3 would be 12x. Ooh, I messed up. Because 4 times 2 is 8. Yep, nope. Wait, why am I doing that? That's right. Because I'm making 4 here, where, yeah, oh my gosh. Whew. Subtract 4. And then when I combine these, 3 subtract 12 would be negative 9x. Ugh. I'm sorry if that confused y'all as much as it just confused me, and I'm sorry I'm making something confusing to y'all, much more confusing. Please excuse me. Okay. There you go. On this one, we can't factor this with this power, but there's a y squared in each of these, so we have to factor out y squared. So we're going to factor y squared out. And so we're taking 2 y's from each of them. So we'd have 5y squared left here, 6y here, and no y here. And now I need factors of 5 and 8 that subtract to get 6. If there is such a thing. So we have 5 and 1, 8 and 1, and 4 and 2. 5 times 2 is 10. 1 times 4 is 4. 10 subtract 4 is 6. Okay. So I'm going to have my y squared. I'm going to break up. I have 5y here and normal y here. Because 5y times y is 5y squared. Now then, they have different signs. So split them up. I may not be able to do that anymore because these aren't the same. So we're going to go ahead and erase this to not confuse you more. Help. Okay, so the 6y is going to be negative, so I'm going to put my negative with my 4. And my 4 is multiplied by my y, so yeah. And then add 2. Wait, why did I do that? The signs are backwards. Thought so. So to get our negative, we have to have negative 10 plus 6. Negative 10 plus 4 to give us negative 6. So 5 times negative 2 and 4 times, yeah. 5y squared subtract 10y plus 4y subtract 8, which would be negative 6y. Yeah. All right. 20x cubed plus 28x squared plus 40x. What is the biggest number? Does 4 go into 28? It's 7, right? Yeah. Okay. So we're going to factor out a 4x. So I'd have 5x squared plus 7x plus 10. Factors of 5 and 10 that add to get 7. So let's see. I have a 5x and a normal x. Let's see, 5 and 1, and then we'd have 2 and 5 because 10 plus something's going to be bigger than 7. I don't think add to get 7 because 5 times 5 is 25 and 10 plus 5 is 15. So this would be the answer. Two x squared subtract xy subtract 6y squared. How do I want to do this first? So we'd have 2 and 1, 6 and 1, and 2 and 3. Because the factors of 2 and the factors of 6, we need to subtract to get 1. 2 times 2 is 4. 3 times 1 is 3. 4 subtract 3 would be 1. And we need negative 1, so we need negative 4. Okay, so these are our x factors. We have 2x and x. And now my 2 needs to multiply by 2. Doesn't multiply by what's with it. It multiplies by what's away from it. Since it's y squared, it's 2y. And then we'd have 3y here. Negative goes with these. Positive goes with this. Then we check it, 2x squared, subtract 4xy plus 3xy, subtract 6y squared, combine to get negative x. 8x squared plus 8x plus 2, factor out a 2. 4x squared plus 4x plus 1. Factors of 4 and 1 that add to get 4. So it's not 1 and 1. Because 4 plus 1 would be 5, and that would be a bust. So 2 times 2 is 2. 2 times 2 plus 2 is 4. So I'm going to have 2 times 2x plus 1 times 2x plus 1, or 2 times 2x plus 1 squared. 3 doesn't go into 16, so I can't factor anything out. I need factors of 3 and 1 and 12. That factor, that subtract to get 16. 12 times 3 would be 36. 36 subtract 1 would be 35. 6 times 3 is 18. 1 times 2 is 2. 18 subtract 2 would be 16. So let's see. We have 3x and x. And then we have 6 and 2. 3 has to multiply by 6. So, and positive, negative. X squared subtract 30x subtract 99. Factors of 99 that subtract to get 30. Okay, so you have 99 and 1. That's 98, so that's a note. 33 times 3. 33 subtract 3 would give us our 30 though. So we have x and x at the beginning because it's just x squared. They're different signs, so subtract and plus. And I want negative 30, so negative 33 plus 3. 23 and 50, that would be 25 and 2. 25 subtract 2 would be, okay, so yeah, x and x. And I want it to be negative 23, so negative 25 and plus 2. Squared, subtract 25x. Beautiful. Okay, down here, we can factor out 4. So we have x squared, subtract 4x plus 4. Factors of 4 that add to get 4 would be 2 and 2. So we'd have 4x subtract 2 times x 2. And then negative times negative is positive. Negative 2x subtract 2x would be negative 4x. Okay, let's see. Factors of 6 and 2 that subtract to get 11. Six times 2 is 12. 1 times 1 is 1. Negative 12 plus 1 would be negative 11. So we're going to have a 6x and 1x. 6 has to multiply by 2. 1 has to multiply by 1. I want negative 12 positive. I think this one's out of ink. 6x squared subtract 11x plus 4. So 6 and 1, 3 and 2, 4 and 1, and 2 and 2. And now I want to add to get 11. So 3 times 2 is 6. 2 times 2 is 4. That would be 10. 6 times either of them is 12. 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times 2. Okay. So 3 and 2 and 4 and 1. 3 times 1 is 3. 2 times 4 is 8. 8, 9, 10, 11. And they both have the same sign. So I'd have 3x and 2x. And then my 3 is multiplied by my 1. And then 4 both have subtract. Oh, let's see. 6x squared can be factored out. So I'd have 6 times 2 is 12. 6 times 5 is 30. And 2 again. Okay, factors of 2 that add to get 5. So that 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 times 2 is 4. 4 plus 1 is 5. And it has the same sign, so 6x squared, we'd have 2x x, and then 2 has to multiply by 2. 2x squared plus 4x plus 1x plus 2. Okay, so I just have a c squared at the front, so c and c. Factors of 8 that add to get 9 would be 8 y and y, and they're both positive, so it's positive, positive. X squared subtract 8x subtract 20. Factors of 20 that subtract to get 8 would be 10 and 2. And I need -10 and +2, so x subtract 10 times x plus 2. Does 7 go into 175? Isn't 7 quarters 175? So, okay, so 7x squared plus 10xy plus 25y squared. There's 25 that add to get 10 would be 5 and 5. So I have 7x plus 5y times x plus 5y. X squared plus 5xy plus 5xy, 10xy. 5 times 5 would be 25y squared. 41. Ooh, 41. Goes into 41. Definitely 41 is prime, but what goes 2 doesn't. 3 goes into 4, but 3 don't go into 11. 4 doesn't. 5 doesn't. 6 goes into 42. 7 goes into 49 and 42. It's prime. Because 41 plus 1 is 42. Holy smokes. That was so fun.